Hey fellas, we're back. This is it, the side-by-side comparison. In this corner, we have the Tigen Full Metal Tiger 1 Early. It's running on the IBU2. And in this corner, we have the Mado Panzer III, also all metal, running on the Clark package. In between, we have the two radios. On the left is the Mado radio that came with the Mado Clark package. It's a rebranded FlySky, now known as the MA-1010. On the right is the infamous Turnigy 9X with the Tank ER9X firmware. So let's start with the Clark package. It's actually on now. As you can see, well, one thing about the Clark package, it'll sit there and it'll do its thing, and you'll never be able to know that it's on. And that can be kind of cool. But you can headlights on. I found that it has little quirks. It's hard to get it just a headlight on without getting a tiny little bit of turret movement. One thing about the Mado radio, it does not have self-centering stick on the right-hand side. And this has made it interesting for me. There's been a couple of near crashes because when you let go of the stick, it doesn't stop, it keeps running. Like it just did to me there. It does have proportional turret rotation. Slower, faster. Now, one thing that the Clark board has that the IBU doesn't have is it has proportional speed control for the gun elevation as well. But I don't really like the gun elevation setup on the Clark as much. You have to come 75% forward and then move left or right to get gun elevation. But it is proportional. The more you move the stick, the faster the gun will elevate. That probably didn't show up at all, did it? It's hard for me to watch this stuff at the same time. I'm trying to keep an eye on what the tank's doing, but I need to be keeping an eye on what's going on at the camera. Like I said, it's kind of touchy. I don't really care for it. It'll still rotate all the way through. It's still running on the hang long, up, down, so it's just rotating all the way through there. But I want down on this side, up on this side. But like I said, a little bit touchy. Sound is, I would say, fair. Control is decent. It's not really what I'm used to. It's more difficult to just lock one track and drive it around. But if it does this well on this carpet, see, it wants to break into super spin because of the way they've got it set up. And also, like I said, no self-centering on the left stick. But I did order the self-centering kit, and it is on the way. Now that little jump you saw, that's from how they got it set up. It'll do that to you. And you want to talk about difficult driving without self-centering when you're trying to hold the radio down there and pay attention to whatever's going on. And hey, I only got about 11 brain cells left anyway. Lights come on. Let me bring her forward and turn on the smoker. Oh, it's on. Just hard to see the smoke at this time of day. I have not yet discovered if you can turn the smoke unit on and off from the transmitter. I thought there was a method for that on the Clark, but I haven't discovered it yet. Like I said, I don't have the airsoft hooked up, so there is no cannon sound right now. I do have machine gun. I like the machine gun on the Clark a lot better than the IBU2. It's louder, easier to hear over the engine. There doesn't seem to be any increase in engine speed with stick movement on the Clark. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or if I'm doing something wrong. Whoa! See what I mean about that non-self-centering stick? It's pretty easy to back into places you don't want to. Good thing it's a metal tank, eh? And that is the Clark package. Remind me to turn that off later. We will now move to the IBU2. I think this is a lot easier tank to use. Headlight off. Engine start. Sound system on the IBU2 is just phenomenally superior. Control on the IBU2 is also much, much better. I can turn the smoke unit on and off from the transmitter. They both work pretty much the same way, that you move your stick in different positions to get different effects. For me, all the way up and to the right is engine start. Lower right is headlight. Lower left is smoke on and off. Upper left turns on and off the momentum. I don't tend to use the momentum that much. I like to drive it manually, but when you do use the momentum on this, I've noticed one thing that I like very much, and that is that you have an emergency brake. If you're going forward on momentum and you want to stop quickly, you can slam into reverse and it will stop the tank right away. This also has proportional turret rotation. You can go fast, you can go slow. It does not have proportional up and down gun movement. It's just up or down, but it's pretty easy because it's like I think it's supposed to be. Push the stick forward, the gun goes up. Pull the stick backwards, it goes down. It will still rotate all the way through. Pull a little too far. It will still rotate all the way through because it's got the hang long gun elevation unit. Machine gun. I'm just going to let it rotate all the way through. See, it's still got the same unit in it. But now I've got up and down. All the way forward is machine gun. I like the machine gun on the TK-22 better, to be honest. All the way back, cannon. I've noticed that the sound system sometimes gets a little confused. 9-second delay. If you're running machine gun, it doesn't want to make the cannon sound for like a second or two after you stop the machine gun. I also have to adjust the recoil. The recoil is kicking in just a few milliseconds late, but Angelo has already explored this, and this is a great thing about the IBU2. It's got an SD card in it. You can take that SD card out and change all that stuff. I can change the timing on when it flashes, when the cannon sound kicks in, and when the recoil kicks in. So I've just got to increase it a little bit so the recoil kicks in just a little bit sooner. Now the IBU2 does cost considerably more, like $50 more, which is like 50%. But to me, fellas, it's worth it. My plan, I do not have a favorite. Well, I kind of like the IBU2 better, but I'm going to buy more of both boards. The IBU2s are going to go in the larger tanks, like the Tiger and the King Tiger and the Jagd Panther. And when I get it, the Jagd Tiger, the Clark boards will go in my smaller tanks, my Panzer IIIs and my Panzer IV, and possibly my Walker Bulldog. But like I said, all the sound is adjustable on the IBU2. You can remove that SD card You get an SD card reader just about anywhere, like Walmart or wherever. It's like $4, and you can plug it right into your computer, and you're good to go. So what I did was I made a list of features. There's 13 different features on here. Like I said, the first thing that is not on the list is that the sound is it's changeable on the IBU2 and not on the Clark. The Clark, you're stuck with what you get. So, ease of installation. The IBU2 was very easy. It was basically plug and play. I had it running in 5 minutes. It was no big deal. The Clark, now for IR tanks, it'll probably be a little easier, but for airsoft, I considered it to be a difficult installation. It's not something for newbies. It is not a plug and play unit. I did a lot of soldering. I had to basically rebuild a daughter board. So instead of now just having the 8-pin, the one they sent me had an 8-pin and 2 3-pins. What you really need is an 8-pin, a 2-pin, and a 4-pin. You'd have your 8-pin for the 8-pin plug. The 2-pin would be for your turret rotation motor. The 4-pin controls your airsoft and your gun elevation. The way I've got it, it's going to work pretty good, but like I said, I'm still having problems with the airsoft unit. That turret's still got to come back apart. So anyway, when it comes to ease of installation, the IBU2 is the winner, hands down, no question. Ease of use. How easy is it to actually use and drive the tank? I found the IBU2 to have the edge here. It is a very, very easy to use unit to use. The Clark is not too bad. The only thing that I really complain about on the Clark is the gun elevation system, where you have to push forward 75% and then go left or right. I find myself firing the cannon when I don't want to, and especially if I'm driving, it can be difficult to get that 75% just right so that the barrel will move up and down. No problem with the IBU2. It's a very, very easy unit to drive. Number 3 was sound quality. IBU2, hands down, no question. It's just a far superior sound system. It's got better sound. It's adjustable. You can put any kind of sound on there you want. I'm told that part is really easy, but I have not yet explored it myself. Smoothness of control. Again, IBU2. It's the IBU2 kind of doesn't. No, it does have super spin, just like the stock unit does. You move over to the left, and it'll spin for you. The Clark has. It's kind of touchy. If you get your stick in the wrong place, all of a sudden you're going to break from hard turn to super spin, and so the IBU2 is kind of the winner there too. Volume control from the transmitter. Neither one has it. Proportional rotation for your turret. Both of them do have it. Proportional elevation for your gun. The IBU does not. It's go and stop. The Clark board does have proportional gun elevation, but like I said, it's a little trickier with that 75% thing. Smoke on and off at the transmitter. IBU2, definitely yes. Clark, to be determined. If it's there, I still haven't found it. Can you change or add the sound? On the IBU2, yes, you can. On the Clark, no, you cannot. Lights on and off from the transmitter? Yes, on both models. Very easy to do. Cost. The IBU2 is $149 plus shipping. Now that's for me from the UK to Detroit. Shipping was $25, $174 total cost for the unit. The Clark board is $95 plus shipping. So basically the IBU2 is like $54 more. Support. Excellent for IBU2. No problem. Ian is there for me. Whatever questions I've got, he always tells me that I'm not bothering him, and he's been really great. The support on the Clark I would label as very good, but the only reason that I say that is because with the IBU2, my supplier and I have the same native tongue. That is not the case with the Clark board. Now, if the people at Clark and at Mado Toys, if I had grown up speaking the same language as they do, I think these two ratings would be reversed, and I would rate Clark as excellent and IBU2 as very good. So that's just me. I happen to have grown up in North America, so speak English, or at least I try. Programming. Programming on the IBU2 is supposed to be very easy. You just put in the sound card into your SD card into your SD card reader and change it on your PC. The programming with the TK-22 so far, I haven't found it to be that easy. First, I had to make a programming unit, which consists of a hang-long apple or mushroom and an LED to flash at me and talk to me. The TK-22, you have to have an obscure and obsolete Sony remote control to fully enjoy all the programming functions. I don't have that. I have 3 different remote controls. 2 are actual Sony. One is a universal that's been programmed to Sony. None of those 3 will work completely with the TK-22. And so on the whole, I think the IBU2 is a superior board in most respects. It's also a much more costly board. So I guess it's true, you get what you pay for. Clark, very, very good price. IBU2, excellent, way beyond very good, but very high price. Now there is a third board that if I get a crack at it, we'll do a 3-way side-by-side, and that board is called the ASP. It is a new board from RC Tanks Australia. It is made only for airsoft, and it is designed to be used with the Turnigy 9X and 9XR radio loaded with the Tank ER 9X firmware. So if I ever get a crack at those, we'll check that one out. But those are the units, fella. Clark, TK-22 in the Mado Panzer III, IBU2 in the IMEX Tiger 1. Both great tanks, both great companies, both great boards. I can't say really too much bad about either one, but I got to give the edge to the IBU2 even with the higher cost. So that's my opinion, fellas. Let's hear yours. See you next time.